We are live. How about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Dadgummit. Today is Sunday, November 24 of 2024. We are 21:20, about 19 hours after Auburn Tigers handled the Collies from College Station, handed them a thrilling 43-41 4-overtime defeat. And we're going to talk about it all tonight. We're going to get to your questions. We're going to get to your comments. Y'all get on that phone line, 701-779-9585. We'll address whatever it is that you have to say. Hopefully it's a positive show. Should be, man. What a fantastic game. We're going to talk about it all. Here to do it with me, as always, Mr. Allen Head. How about you, big dog?
How about you, brother? And look, it's always a good time when you can send those male cheerleaders home. A little bit on the Trail of Tears going that way, my man. So good for Auburn. Needed that one, didn't they? That was just such a big win in so many different ways for the fan base, for the donors, for the team, for the recruits. Huge night.
Yeah. Speaking of huge, she's fantastic, folks. Don't forget, if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, and need some real estate help, look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talus Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. A lot of fours in that number, Mr. Allen, but she's a freaking 5-star realtor. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I'll tell you. Call me a liar, slap shit out of you. I will. Look at her. Yeah, she just blew me a kiss. Yeah, baby, you 5-star. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How you doing? All right, then. All right. Well, hey, Alan, real quick, Zach, you chime in here. By the way, everybody, Cole is he's handling some family business, man. Don't forget to keep Cole's dad in your prayers and your thoughts if that's your thing. He certainly would appreciate it. He's going to get his dad. I think they're coming back from Texas. I think we've talked about this before, but I can't remember what the details were that he was comfortable sharing. But just remember to keep his dad in your prayers if that's your thing. Real quick, fellas, Zach, coming to the front. 2 minutes, man. Give us some good thoughts on this game. Zach, let's welcome you in tonight.
I like it.
Fresh. Send it to me, big dog. Thoughts on the Auburn victory?
I mean, this almost, looking back now, it almost kind of feels like the turning point. You had to have some positive momentum going into the offseason, and this was it. And also, too, I think Auburn finally offensively understood you just got to get the ball to your playmakers. Jarquez Hunter, like Keandre Lambert-Smith, Cam Coleman. When you give the ball to your best players, guys, look what happens. You go and knock off a top 15 in the country, a top 15 team in the country. Also, too, we already knew this, but man, Jordan-Hare Stadium is a different environment at night for a big game. And I don't know if there's a team in the country that wants to play there in a big game when Auburn's motivated for a win. And then also, too, to see all the videos from the recruits storming the field and everything. I'm really not a fan of always storming the field. It gets old sometimes.
Absolutely.
But in this case, I'm all for it. Because if Auburn needs something to sell to those recruits, because you guys do all the recruiting news, you heard all the rumors about Florida and this school and that school. That's what Auburn needed to kind of get that momentum back on the recruiting trail, especially not playing at home. And then seeing what happened across the state last night as well, it just adds to the intrigue of last week. Can you imagine if Auburn can keep that game close and possibly pull an upset next week in Bryant-Denny, the momentum that gets you? But I also do feel good. I know we give them a lot of flack on this show, especially the callers. We got to give a round of applause to Peyton Thorne and the way he played last night. That was the best performance we've seen from Peyton Thorne in an Auburn uniform. And to me, that is the biggest takeaway from last night. Get the ball to your playmakers, and it's amazing what happens when Peyton Thorne has a good game.
Absolutely. Alan.
Peak Jordan-Hare, right? I mean, last night was peak Jordan-Hare, and you needed it for so many different reasons. Zach, you talked about it, but just 4 years of pent-up frustration from things not necessarily breaking Auburn's way. This is the first ranked win Auburn's had since 2021 against Ole Miss. And that's just far too long. But as you talked about, it feels like a turning point, right? It feels like a situation where Auburn was, you get up on them early, it's 21-0, and then all of a sudden it's knotted at 21-21. And every Auburn fan there, I guarantee you, had that feeling in the pit of their stomach of Auburn's just going to give it away, aren't they? They're going to find a way to give it away. And then Auburn continues to battle, and they go back up 28-21, and then it's 28-24, and then another touchdown. And, Peyton's got the ball. You got to drive 80 yards to get a score. And I guarantee you, every fan in the stands is thinking, okay, how is this team going to not be able to do this? And you know what? They said, not this time. Tonight, we're going to make sure that we do what we need to do. We refuse to lose tonight. And they drive it down, and with the walk-on kicker from a program that shut down, hits a 29-yard field goal after shanking his first one. Went out there and absolutely drilled it. And then you play even with him in overtime. And then obviously Keandre Lambert-Smith makes the catch of the season for Auburn. But you're right. Your seniors, your playmakers showed up for you. Keandre Lambert-Smith, Peyton Thorne, the embattled Peyton Thorne, Jarquez Hunter, who is now, I think he's 5th all-time on Auburn's leading rusher list. So a guy that's just been, so unheralded for the large majority of his career until this season. I think when people finally realize maybe how good of a back he really is. He had it all on display these last couple of games. So just credit to the guys for being able to fight through adversity, being able to rise to the occasion, and in critical moments, you made plays that you had to make to win the game. And again, you never want to put too much on one game as it pertains to recruiting, Jeffrey. You know this as well as anyone. But to have all of the recruits there that you had, to have that kind of reaction and get that kind of a win, I think it puts you over the top for a couple of guys. There are other factors. There are NIL, there's the relational aspect, there's proximity to home, NFL development, all of that. But sometimes you just need to feel that environment and know that Auburn's still capable of being Auburn. And I think they were able to do that last night.
Well said. And coming from the recruiting standpoint, and I said this last week, Auburn needs this win. They need it, man. The benefits that could come from this in recruiting. And we saw it last night after the game, talking to recruits. Deuce Knight, who's been to 7 of the 8 home games, not once has he even shown interest in talking to reporters. Dude, he searched us out with, like I said, he was cheesing, dude. I mean, happy, giddy, schoolgirl. Talk to me, ask me questions. Let me tell you. Oh, my God. He was fantastic. And we had that story last night on Auburn Live on 3. If you haven't read it, go read the Deuce Knight story. Naeem Alford, 5-star Ohio State cornerback commitment, comes in his 4th or 5th game this year. It resonated with all these guys. Justice Terry, 5-star defensive lineman from Georgia, was there on an official visit. Auburn's hacking away at Georgia there. But as far as the game, and I'm like Zach, dude, I am anti-storming the field unless it's generational type win. Kick 6, absolutely, whatever. I'm anti it. But last night, I was proud to see those kids, those players,
yes,
those fans. They needed it. They deserved it so much. And to go out and win a game against Texas A&M, a top 15 team, the way in which they did it. Dude, fourth quarter, Auburn couldn't. I think there were 3 drives in the fourth quarter. Auburn had -8 yards.
Yes.
And I'm going, here we go.
Yeah.
Same crap, different day. Here we go. Blew a 21-point lead. And I'm going, here I am. I got to get how was the environment, Did you get to talk to the coaches? Do you think you could really make a difference? Here comes those questions for the 17th time this season. And then, they didn't give up. And they just found a way. And it was two plays, I think, late in the fourth quarter when Auburn – it might have been in the overtime. No, I think it was in the fourth quarter when Jarquez he ran out of his shoe on one play.
Yes.
And I thought they would pull him, but they didn't. He went back to the backfield and then could have scored. He came out of his shoe and went out of bounds. Damari slips and falls down, and I'm going, that was the chance. Get into overtime. I don't like Auburn's chances in overtime. And they found a way to win. And I love that. And I love that the fans got to celebrate with the players. I love seeing Keandre Lambert-Smith, crowd surfing. I love seeing Jarquez Hunter get 20 totes. I love seeing Cam Coleman get, 8 or 10 targets, however many he got. It was really good to see. It was really fun to see. And I'm proud for everybody involved. Got a big one coming up. All right, let's get to the phone lines. 701-779-9585. Zach, who you got for us, big dog?
Let's see. Make sure. We already know who we're starting with.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin You're live, man.
Kevin from Wimmer, Alabama.
Yeah, baby.
There he is.
Bring that thunder
Kevin.
tonight.
How about Jaquez Hunter and Cam Coleman and Peyton Thorne?
Man, let's talk about him, Kevin. What'd you think, big dog?
I think we will be good next year.
Yeah, what about the Saturday night against A&M? What'd you think about that game?
We played good.
Yeah. Who was your MVP last night, Kevin? Who was your most valuable player of the game?
Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman. I mean, Kevin was projecting him to have 6 or 7 touchdowns a game, and Kevin, in the past 2 games, you're damn near close.
He's lived up to the hype.
In the past 2 games, I think Cam had 12 catches, 225 fish yards, and 5 touchdowns.
That's correct.
And would have had 6 had he not been held.
Is good too.
Jarquez is fantastic. Jarquez is everything you want in an SEC football running back.
And like a boss, took that picture with the cigar in the locker room after he was done with everything.
Status on
Damari Alston?
No, offered.
Naheem offered.
Oh, I'm sorry. Man, I tell you, Kevin, I'm liking Auburn's chances. I'm cautiously optimistic on Auburn's chances. I had him at 55% on the hot board. At one time had him at 60. I'm ready to put him and move him back up to 60%. I think Auburn, with 10 days left before signing day, is the team to beat.
I think that he will sign with Auburn.
Well, there you go. Makes me feel better, Kevin.
Make it be, Kevin. Make it be.
I think Auburn
and
has
will sign with Auburn too.
Yeah, I think last night was big for that. And listen, I want everybody to listen. If you're following recruiting, Deuce Knight, the Egg Bowl's next Friday night, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Don't be surprised to see Deuce Knight there.
Yeah.
And don't freak out. As someone heard him say, if I wanted to go Ole Miss, I would have already done it. But they're pushing for him to come visit. He's got good relationships with those guys. I think it'll be tough for him to say no.
I can't wait to see Alvin Henderson at Auburn.
Speaking of Alvin Henderson, Kevin, another running back to keep an eye on, Usman Kroma, the Georgia commit, was back at Auburn Friday night. Talked to him Sunday afternoon a little while ago. There's some confidence at Auburn. There's some confidence.
How many seniors we losing?
26?
23 or 26. And there's some guys that have COVID years, so I'm not exactly sure who has eligibility to come back, but that sounds right, Jeffrey.
Yeah, somewhere around 25. How about that? Let's just play it safe.
Yeah, give or take.
So you're losing 25 seniors, and then you're going to have some guys, handful of guys, go to the portal. And Auburn's got 27 come in. You're going to find some attrition in there to fill up some of these spots to give you some spots to fill when the portal opens December the 6th, 9th.
December the 9th.
Men's basketball team.
Oh, over in Aloha State.
Yeah, we got the Maui Open coming, or the Maui Invitational, excuse me. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity to see Bruce Pearl and the boys as they play against the number 5 team in the country, Iowa State. That's a marquee matchup. And then
Auburn's favored.
Yeah,
I think it's a slight favorite, right?
It's low, but
1.5, 2.
What time does it come on?
8.
Is that tonight?
No, Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday night. They're there in practice.
All right, Kevin. Well, listen, big dog. We got another game to play next week. We're going to be expecting your
Alabama.
Yeah. Heard of it? We're going to be looking for your call next week.
We'll win too.
Okay, you got Auburn beating Alabama?
Yeah, 35-20.
Oh,
whoa!
I like it.
I wouldn't argue with it.
No, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to give you arguments for both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alabama is now squarely out of the playoff.
I'm not. They should be, but I'm not going to.
I agree
on that boat with you. They're like 13th in the AP poll.
13.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Y'all, you later, War Eagle.
All right, Kevin, War Eagle, big
War
dog.
Eagle,
Talk to us, Alan.
I honestly don't see a way that Alabama plays their way in. I just don't. The only victory they have, quality victory that they have, Georgia, maybe South Carolina. I guess that's a top 25 win right now.
Do you know what Texas's most impressive win is?
Vanderbilt.
By how many? 3.
What? 3. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
So this Texas game could play a role. Jason Caldwell and I were talking about this today.
Yeah.
About Texas A&M could play a role in beating Texas, but I told him, and I'm like you, Alan. I was like, how could you let a 3-loss Alabama team, 3-loss SEC team? Now you think Tennessee's probably in, right?
Yes, I think Tennessee's in if they beat Vandy, right? Because again, they've got to play in Nashville, and that's not a gimme right now.
Is Indiana in?
Indiana's in if they beat Purdue.
Okay,
they got to beat Purdue.
Purdue might be the worst Power 5 team in the country.
Yeah, Ryan Walters is in trouble up there right now.
Yeah,
I agree. Indiana better be in.
And also too, the chaos that will happen because the winner of A&M in Texas, the winner goes to the SEC championship. What if A&M wins next week and upsets Georgia in the championship game?
That's it. Or Georgia loses the SEC championship game, goes to 3 losses. Now they've got head-to-head over Alabama, and Alabama's beat them.
Correct.
That's how Alabama gets in.
And you're right, because I'm looking at the losses that Alabama has. So Vanderbilt and blown out by Oklahoma, a 6-6 Oklahoma, not even close. I mean, that was a 20-point win.
That's the worst I've seen Alabama look since Saban's first year.
Yeah, the ULM loss is might be the worst performance since then.
Yeah, I mean, just whipped
3 points.
Yeah,
Auburn scored 17 or something.
Yeah, 21 points versus Oklahoma.
Wow.
21, and look, if we don't botch some play calling there, you probably scored 24 or 28.
That pick 6, we were in Oklahoma territory, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure were.
Yeah.
I on the 40 going in.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was they were on the 40, and I was like, congratulations, Peyton Thorne. You don't have to throw another pass. Auburn's going to win this football game.
Negative.
Yep.
Hey. We're talking about the A&M game.
Yeah, we are talking about the A&M game, but that's the thing. It's the Alabama losses. They've got 2 quality wins, but it's the losses that they have that are so gnarly. And the same with Ole Miss. Ole Miss has a terrible loss to Kentucky. I'll give you LSU and Death Valley. And look, Florida's a better team than people want to give them credit for.
Sure.
Okay. You're probably talking about a 7-5 team that should be better than that, but they've played a hellacious schedule. Those 2 losses don't bother me if you're Ole Miss, but that Kentucky loss, that Kentucky team is bad. They are really bad. And that's the thing that's going to hurt them. And it feels like 2 teams from the ACC are going to get in. Is it going to be Clemson and Miami? Is it going to be SMU and Miami? SMU and Clemson? It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
What does SMU have left?
Oh, God.
I can pull it up.
A little sister of the poor and then the ACC championship game.
Okay.
Against
Miami, presumably.
Yeah. I think if Miami wins this weekend against Syracuse, or this coming weekend against Syracuse, they're in.
Yeah. And if they lose, then Clemson goes to the ACC championship. But if they lose this weekend, Miami does, I think they might be right there on the bubble anyway.
Possibly.
They don't have any quality wins. I mean, now that Florida win for them has aged really, really well.
Yeah, it has. I mean, because they blew Florida out.
Yeah, but they didn't play Lagway that game, so it's that team's so different with Lagway at quarterback.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
They've got something there. But yeah, I mean, the SEC has kind of cannibalized itself to a degree. You've created a path for 2 ACC teams. It's only going to be 1 Big 12 team. And then I'll be interested to see the group of 5 because Boise looked shaky last night.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to play UNLV now in the championship game. And if they lose that one, I would put the odds on Tulane being the group of 5 champion at that point.
All right, let's see. Who else you got for us, Zach?
1510. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Hendo.
Zach, what's up?
There
What's
he
up,
is.
big dog?
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening, Hendo? You on break?
I'm doing all right.
Man, listen, this is the best I've been since I don't know when, to be honest with you.
I hear you, man. Hell, I couldn't even stop walking the floor last night. It was hard to go to sleep.
Oh, had too much adrenaline going.
Yeah, way too much.
What'd you think about that game, Hendo?
The game was good, man. This is the first time we actually got to see Pinkston nothing like their headlights.
Say that again.
It was hard. I said it's the first time we got to see Peyton Thorne play without looking like a deer in headlights.
Peyton Thorne was good last night.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Peyton Thorne last night, Auburn's probably an 8 or 9 win team right now.
Right.
No?
No,
Alan?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes.
Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you sound better now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was good to see Peyton Thorne not look like he was scared to death last night.
Yes.
And like the only thing I'm gonna complain about, we gotta do something different with special teams.
Golly. Preach, brother.
Like that kickoff return at the end almost got us.
I mean, the punt team was bad.
Yeah,
field goals
had going on.
Inconsistent at best. The punt team special teams has been a liability, no doubt about that. And then it was again last night.
Yeah,
Oscar Chapman had
that kickoff in the fourth quarter or one of the overtime. I think it was the fourth quarter. That kickoff, the last kickoff we did, we had 4 people on the right side, and they had a return left set up, and like he almost broke it.
That was with no time on the clock in regulation. That was right after Auburn had tied it up. And I turned to Christian and I was like, man, they just let him run down the sideline to run off the clock. But that was all part of the plan.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if I'm Tanner Burns, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That was part of the plan. Let him run until time runs out, then tackle him.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was great to see Auburn play a full game. It was great to see Peyton Thorne play and like show some heart last night. Like, not saying that he hadn't had heart,
right.
But like every time he's made a mistake, it's like once he makes that mistake, it's a wrap for him.
Sure.
But he bounced back last night. That's the kind of quarterback. That's what you need in a leader. You need somebody that can stand. They can stand there when they make a mistake, just hold their head up and then go back out there and do it again and make it right.
I thought the leadership.
He showed last night he had some heart.
Yes, the leadership from Peyton Thorne, from Jarquez Hunter, from Luke Deal was on display last night. I thought Luke Deal was, and I talked to him today. I thought he was fantastic. The things that he does off the field for this team. He had a big speech to them, I think, late in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He went out there and stared down those collies. Did y'all see that?
I did.
He was like, yeah. He said as soon as they called heads, I knew it was over. He said, I've never called heads once in my life.
Last night was good. But also I want to speak like on our fans too. Like some of these folks need to relax, man. And like I'm not saying storm the field. Like I don't like last night. Those kids stormed the field because it was senior night. It's the last game of Jordan here, and for 4 years of their college life, they hadn't really seen nothing. They had nothing to get excited about. And the way this year has been going, like it was just emotion. Like, man, it was something to celebrate. Like I've seen people saying it was embarrassing and this and that. Like, man.
No.
If you was 20 years old and you've been going to this school and you've been hoping for the best, hope for the best, and always getting the worst, and finally something better happened for you, you're gonna be excited.
Listen,
it was good for that to happen and to have a stadium full of recruits that you hoping want to come play for you. That needed to happen.
You think about what these fifth-year seniors.
People need to just chill out and let kids be kids.
They had to endure the last year of Gus Malzahn, 2 years of Brian Harsin, and Hugh Freeze's first 2 years.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Crash out.
Be kids, man. You sit your 45, 50-year-old self in the stands, let the kids go out there and celebrate.
No, that was fun to see. Happy for
it
him.
Was great. Hey, but anyway, it's been great talking to y'all. I got to get back to work.
All right, Hendo, we appreciate you, big dog.
Yeah, man. Like I said, hey, what predict the score for the Alabama-Auburn game?
You don't want me to do that right now.
Yeah, do it. Don't be scared. Do it.
I don't think it's a good matchup. I don't think it's a good matchup for Auburn.
We'll do it at the end of the show, Hendo. I promise you.
Yeah. I'll private message you, Hendo.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Appreciate you calling in, buddy. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Well,
let's ride this high before we.
Exactly. At the end of the show, we'll give a prediction, and I'll give some insight as to why I feel this way.
I hear you. We might be on the same page.
No need for an introduction here. Anthony, you're live, man.
Fellas, Anthony from Montgomery.
Fellow, how about you, big dog?
What's up, Ed? How was that football for the resident football fan? Not a recruiting fan. I mean, he'll get into it, but Anthony's a football guy. So I want to hear. Give me your stump, man. How you feeling today?
Hey, first I want to give y'all guys a high voucher, man, because like I put on the corner earlier after watching the recruiting show, Jay Lee had me fired up and made me want to go to the game. Damn, Jay Lee, I appreciate you not letting me miss that one, man. I can barely talk.
I knew that. You got loud.
It was a hell of a game, man. I'm just happy to see those guys fight, man. It was a good one.
Yes.
But I want to do a Payne Thorne appreciation, man. Payne Thorne is good with me, man. He might not be an NFL quarterback here. He might not be an XFL quarterback. But one thing you can't take from Payne loves football. And if you love the game that I love, you good with me. He tough, man. I was sitting down there in that corner, and when he dropped his head on that guy, and he looked and he got up, and he didn't say anything, like he just looked at like through his soul, and I was like, and just looked at him like, yeah, I'm coming back. I was like, yeah, Payne good with me. So man, big up to him, man, for just going out there and just keep going. He loved the game, man. You can't take that from him. He's not the most talented guy, but he loves football. He's gonna keep coming at you every time.
Completely agree.
No.
My spiel is, I put this on the corner too. I'm not convinced that it's just a foregone conclusion that we're gonna lose to Alabama. Like a Nick Saban-led team in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, after this, you probably get our heads stomped in. But those guys don't mesh well with Kalen DeBoer. They down there, Jalen Milroe on a downward trajectory, and they don't have. I mean, they might get the playoff. Might still be in there, but it's looking real slim.
Sure.
I don't think that he has that cachet to get those guys fired up, or they believe in him to that point to get fired up to be like, yeah, we're about to go win this game. I'm not saying we're gonna go in there and win, but I just don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Like, yeah, there's no chance we can win there. I don't think Kalen DeBoer is that guy. And we go out there and play our game. I mean, we stop the deep. Bama can't do nothing but throw deep and run with Milroe. And here they don't even like to run Milroe. That's their best weapon. So I think we got a chance, man. We go in there and do what we need to do. Run the ball. Hell,
yes.
we go in there and do the game plan we did last year against Bama and add the deep shot to Kendra Lemon-Smith and Cam Coleman, we can win that game. That's all I got, man. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you, Anthony.
No, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, great call. If I'm going to play devil's advocate with Anthony, and then I'm going to make an argument that corroborates some of his thought processes, is Auburn a mature enough team to be able to compartmentalize a win like this that you are emotionally high on with all the distractions of a Thanksgiving week and go out there and be able to play at another emotional high in an Iron Bowl that you have to have? And that's what you just don't know just yet, right? They haven't done it yet. Now, yes, they've strung together 2 consecutive wins, but La Monroe was one of those, and Auburn was just a superior team, right? But to be able to put a win like that behind you and not let yourself get distracted, that's a huge thing for a team that's still growing and developing. Now, if you get it done, that is a level of momentum that Auburn hasn't seen in a long time, to string to back top 25 wins together, with one of those being on the road in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Now, to Anthony's point, what's Alabama's level of motivation? Are they going to come out ready to play? Kalen DeBoer is a fantastic coach, but this is his first Iron Bowl. Now, you'd have to be from Mars not to understand the significance of the Iron Bowl, but having never coached in one before, it's different. There's a different level of preparedness, a different level of emotion that you're not necessarily, if you haven't been in the situation, I don't think you quite understand the intensity of that game. So if Alabama isn't all the way in, if they're not bought in completely and emotionally up to play, I think that's where Auburn can muddy this up, run the football, control the clock. And then, like Anthony talked about, make sure that you neutralize Jalen Milroe. You've got a perfect solution and a freshman linebacker who absolutely tracks down mobile quarterbacks better than most, right? So you're going to spy him all game long, but you're going to have to play your best game to go in there and do it. But again, where's Alabama? Do they have guys that have one eye towards the transfer portal? You know, are they emotionally up after playing the way they did in Norman? You would think there's a lot of pride there still on that team. And there are a lot of guys that are still carried over from the Saban era, but you just don't know. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns in this game. There's 2 different interesting storylines that are going to play themselves out. And I'll be excited to see which one takes shape.
You got to think this is probably the most talented DeBoer team at Alabama we'll see for a while. In
this era, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right, Zach, keep us going, big dog. Appreciate you, Anthony.
5960. You're live.
What's going on, fellas?
The kid from the country of Selma.
Get in here, Edward.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us, big dog. I know you was happy.
Prayers for Cole's father, man. Prayers to your father, Cole. You know, my deepest prayer to you, brother. And that damn Cole Pinkston, that's a good damn man. I started off saying that good damn man. Got the chance, to meet him again at the Southside game Friday night. And I looked there and I got Cole Pinkston. I got Jason Caldwell, Christian Clemente, and that was right there in the mix with him talking Auburn football. That was like a real moment for me.
You was in heaven, wasn't you, buddy?
First thing Jason Caldwell say, man, Jeffrey Lee and Cole talk about you all the time. So, hey, I appreciate that, man.
You got it, buddy.
But I wish every Auburn fan could have seen that game Friday with Mr. Derek Smith down by 10 points in the third quarter. And you'll see why I've been saying what I've been saying for this long. You're down by 10 in the third quarter. Defense need to play. Strip sack. Come back. Defense need another play. Interception. Sniff out the screen pass. Come back. Offense need to play. Throw it up in double coverage. You go up over everybody and catch the ball. It was on full display. And I was glad them guys were there to witness it. But sticking with high school, you got Mr. Alvin Henderson headed to Maplesville, Alabama. Well, they're going to be a barn burner Friday night. My cousin, 14-year-old Mr. Nehemiah McCure, 9th grade running back, he started from Maplesville. Kid got about 2,500 yards for his career already, and he missed the first 6 games of this season. So you got the go-to 1A running backs, and you got the future 1A running back. But I'm telling you, he ain't going to take a back seat to nobody when it comes to running the ball. He already 6'2", about 205 pounds. Auburn football. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Thank you for not. I told Cole Friday night I expected to win this ball game. It was just something. It was just something about this game that I felt like we were gonna win it. And for the first time this season, I seen a team that when they got down, they didn't panic. Even Hugh said at halftime he knew things were gonna shift. He said it was gonna get crazy at halftime in the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
But you had a team that they done been in so many different situations this year. Honestly, this team prepared for whatever situation they may face. But they done been through it all.
Yeah.
And what frustrates me, not to be negative about the situation, what we doing now been there all year long. The deep shots to Cam Coleman, it been there all year long. We just didn't take them.
I know.
This ain't nothing new. When I said 10 wins. And it might sound crazy. But realistically, you look at some of the losses that Auburn had. We realistically supposed to be on one of them bubble playoff teams this year. Arkansas, fluke. Oklahoma, fluke.
Cal.
Missouri, fluke. Vanderbilt, fluke. Man, we should be right there on the bubble. But enough of what we should be. I'm focused on what we at. And with that being said, Alabama got an ass whooping coming Saturday.
Woo!
You got an ass whooping coming Saturday. I owe you. I owe you. You on the ropes. This ain't gonna be Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. You on the ropes, and we coming in for the knockout. I understand that we coming off emotional high, but they coming off of a worst case scenario, emotional low.
Yeah.
Then they got that same Thanksgiving break. They probably got knocked off of playoff contention. They ain't headed to no SEC championship. You got a bunch of guys on that team used to going to Atlanta, used to going to the playoffs. How did they respond with that possibility not in the picture? You got an Auburn team that's fighting for a bowl game. You got an Auburn team that don't got nothing to lose. Whatever in the playbook that he been holding, and trust me, he got something that he been saving. You throw the kitchen sink at them. So you got them they on the rope. They got worse problems than we got. The record just look a little better than ours. But they got their own issues. They can't pass protect. And we got some guys who can come off the edge. They don't run the ball well. They got their own issues.
True.
All I need Auburn to do is stay locked in this week, stay locked in, and do what they do. I was so happy for Luke Deal and Jaquez Hunter, man. I'm talking to my guys that signed with Auburn out of high school and stuck with me and could have left and went other places. You know, I'm partial to those guys because they played a hell of a game, and I wanted to see those seniors go out with a win. And like I say, that was a beautiful thing, man. Just don't quit. I don't give a damn what the results look like. As long as you give me your best, I live with it. But that just happened to be enough to get me a win last night. Next Saturday, I need that same thing all the time. Just give me 100%. And that was good with a win or a loss. But I ain't looking at a loss. It's upset time in Tuscaloosa. Well, ain't no upset. We owe y'all. Remember all that grade digger stuff? It paid back Saturday. And it wore damn eagle from the kid, but
appreciate you, Eric.
Yeah, he did. He's got my blood moving, man.
He was already. In my mind, I was going, "Yeah, man. You know, Hugh's got some things figured out with Alabama. Like this might can happen." Like, he had me ready to change my pick.
I'm telling you. And to what Edward said now, please God, let it not be the flea flicker. But I guarantee you that Hugh Freeze has got something in the playbook for Alabama. Guaranteed.
And the line is still 12.5. I think Justin put that on the board today.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
It is. It's a lot of points, and a large part of it is if you look at the differential in between that game and then the Texas A&M game. And I think A&M and I mean, honestly, I think the A&M defense is a little bit more talented than Alabama's defense this year. It's Jordan-Hare. Jordan-Hare was worth 7 in that game last night. You're going to be playing him. You're playing in Bryant-Denny. So again, you're going to have to go take it on the road.
Is that a 230?
I believe so.
230 ABC, and the lines dropped to 11.5.
Okay,
just a point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Edward. Appreciate you calling in, big dog.
7381. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from? Seven 3 8-1. You're live.
Sorry, I got to learn how to use technology. Take yourself off mute. This is Brian down in Dothan, Alabama. How y'all tonight?
Doing well, Brian. How about yourself, buddy?
Doing well. Just wanted to first tell you, I called first time, I guess, 2 weeks ago and joined the full site. And I'm enjoying all the articles you guys put up and all the information that y'all put up. I'm kind of an old fart, so I'm trying to learn how to use the corner and some of those other things, chats and things on there. So I ain't learned that yet, but I appreciate what y'all do on that site.
Well,
man.
thank you for joining, Brian. Appreciate you.
I was at the game last night, and I tell you, I was mentally and emotionally exhausted after that game. And I had two kids sitting behind me with their family, and they were like, "Dad, this is crazy." And I said, "Son, this is an Auburn fan."
Yeah.
Sounds, man, over the years, and goods and bads, and just emotions were everywhere. But it was great. Anthony and Edward took a little bit of my thunder. I was going to give Peyton credit too for that.
Hey, he deserves it all, Brian. Keep it coming, buddy.
He does. He does.
Yeah, and then when, like you said, when he stood up and looked at that dude in the eyes, I was like, that's the dude right there now.
Yeah.
I also wanted to kind of give a shout out to Joyner. As far as the offensive line, I thought they played pretty good. You know, I think if we hadn't had those few false starts down there at the end, we probably wouldn't have been in no overtimes.
Yeah.
I think we'd have won that game, but I think Joyner played good on the line.
I think Cole's a big fan of him.
The only other thing I wanted to ask you guys, have y'all ever heard and Cole, I know Cole watching the film and being coaching and stuff before, what do y'all think about lining up Cam Coleman and KLS on the same side?
Like in a stack or bunch formation? What are you talking about?
Kind of maybe a stack. Just because I would think that would just kind of maybe because they'd have to match up with them and then pull safety over or something. I just thought that. I wonder if that's something that could be used in a funky kind of way, maybe and it may open up Simmons or Lewis or somebody like that.
Would you do that only if they were showing man coverage, or would it matter? It wouldn't really matter if they're in zone.
Sure. I mean, they could still roll the coverage contingent on what you're going to be doing. But to do that, you'd want to create a one-on-one on the other side to make sure that you can manipulate that matchup. And who would that be?
Yeah. Because that's why you want to stack them on the same side, because who would be your number 3 option that would get the one-on-one? What you would want to do is stack around Coleman or stack around KLS. Yeah. That way you get the one-on-one with Coleman or KLS on the other side on the outside.
And I do think they do that a lot.
They do.
I think you see Cam Coleman on being the single guy out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was just something I was.
I like it.
Some other guys in the stands about last night.
I like it.
Would that be what kind of difference that would be? And maybe I was on the emotional high, but I went ahead and started texting all my buddies. Last Sunday, I said that we were going to upset and win this game. And my wife and daughter, who was there with me, they kept saying, "He's going to miss this kick," or I was like, "No negative. We're not losing."
I was over there with your wife and daughters.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't having it. We're going to win this ball game. We're going to stay to the end. And I was at that. Y'all may have been as well. I remember the Georgia game was 5 overtimes back in the day, and the sprinkler game, I guess it was called. And this was even different than that. And
is that back in the 90s?
Yeah, it was 90. Or no, was it late 80s maybe?
It might have been the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have overtime back then, but the sprinkler game was then. That's when they stayed on the field celebrating, and Auburn just turned the damn sprinklers on.
Yeah, Georgia was pulling up the turf and stuff like that. I think it was trainers or something like that. But anyway, maybe my emotions were different because I was 21 then. I'm 60 now. So, but anyway, but I think we're set up good to beat Alabama next week.
Okay.
I think those guys probably learned a lot tonight, like Edward and everybody was talking about. Don't quit. Take the good, the bad, keep fighting, and at the end. Last thing, I'll let you guys. I'll get off. That play where KLS scored in the end zone.
Yeah.
To win the game. I think we've run that play either it was Arkansas or Oklahoma game and scored. And maybe one other time. I think we've run that play 3 or 4 times. So it seems to be like a good call for us in certain situations. But anyway, thanks you guys. Appreciate
Brian, good call, big dog. Appreciate you calling in, man. Don't be a stranger. Talking about that, first of all, what an incredible catch by KLS.
Yes.
But if you go back and look at that from behind Peyton Thorne, the camera view from behind him, that throw.
Yeah.
Oh,
he threw him open. I mean, he had to put it in the spot for KLS to be able to execute that. That was it was a well-placed ball, right?
Beautiful.
Look, I know how certain people feel about Peyton Thorne, okay? But any quarterback that goes out there and puts their body on the line, I mean, he took some shots and absolutely put his head down one time and got hit so hard that he ricocheted for the first down.
For 2 yards.
You know what I mean? And he said, damn it, I don't care. I'm putting my body on the line for you. When you see that, as somebody who's played football, as somebody who's been an Auburn fan for all their life, and you see somebody sacrifice themselves in that way, that creates buy-in for me, right? And credit to Hugh Freeze, who could have benched Peyton Thorne coming out of the bye. Yeah. He stuck with his guy, and it was the right call. And I don't know for all the Auburn fans, and I'll get some Alabama pushback because I guarantee you with it being this week, you're going to have some trolls in the chat, right?
No.
And did you see the Pepsi challenge of Peyton Thorne stats by comparison
to Milrose?
I
couldn't believe it.
And Thorne stats were better.
I could not believe that. The rushing touchdowns were like 17 to 3 or whatever.
Different. Significantly. But how you like them apples from the passing standpoint?
I didn't know. You know what? Peyton has always put up some decent numbers. They just get overshadowed because of the red. All the stuff he has in black has been always overshadowed by his red. The reds being the INTs, the fumbles, the turnovers,
the misplaced balls.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like even when he's like, all right, so look at the Vanderbilt game, right? Like I think statistically his game wasn't bad, but if you go back and actually watch the game and look at the ball placement, yes. I mean, if he puts it on guys a couple different times, there's yards that to carry there for days for them to be able to go and execute and make bigger plays, but it just wasn't there that day.
And even last week, I believe against La Monroe, I think it was that game, but even some of his completions were poorly thrown footballs. Like it could have went bigger, if he would have led them instead of behind. It was, but you know what? I've never been a fan of Peyton Thorne, but after Saturday night, after last night, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. And listen, I don't think he's anything more than an average, at best, SEC quarterback.
Right.
I'm not delusional in thinking that he's, 6,000 yard guy.
Yeah.
But he played Auburn football, and I think that was the biggest takeaway from that game. I think that's what everybody, to put it in a huge, just one big generalized nutshell, that was Auburn football.
Yes.
And Auburn fans and players, and they haven't experienced that in so long. They've been so close.
I know.
And then to finally get there, it was, yes.
No, I'm with you. And you think about some of the critical moments within that game where they had to execute. Think about the fourth and two.
Yes.
Peyton drops back, realizes they're in man coverage because he sees the backs of the defenders and says, you know what, I'm not even going through my progression. Gone. Read it and went.
Was that his 20-something yard carry?
Yes.
That was the absolute most crucial play of the game. In my opinion, that was the play of the game.
And if it wasn't that one, it was the 3rd and 6.
25?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There were 2 runs.
Exactly. There was 2 runs. That's the 25-yarder that he rips off right there, right? Then you go 2 more plays. You're in 3rd and 5. You hit Jarquez Hunter when you had to have it for 6. You know what I mean? You just get what you've got to have. But those were the 2 critical plays in that drive where you got behind the chains, and as opposed to when Auburn's gotten off schedule and behind the chains in the past in those situations, it's sack or INT. That's exactly what's coming. They flipped the script on that last night. And again, I'm with you, Jeffrey. When you see somebody play with that kind of fortitude and that kind of passion and that kind of effort, be damned what's happened in the past, right? Like you become a fan of that individual because they laid it on the line in a way.
Respect, man.
Yeah, that you can respect.
And you know what? I was taking a leak when he threw an interception, so I don't even know that he did. That somebody said he threw an interception.
He did.
I was draining the radiator, so I didn't see it. So I didn't.
Yeah, he didn't see Scooby underneath, unfortunately.
Oh, Scooby.
Yeah,
former Auburn commits.
Silent for sure.
Yeah. He's committed.
I mean, I remember when me and you got that information. I was like, "Oh yeah, Scooby." No, after that Georgia game, it was done on that one.
Yep. Oh, Scooby. All right, Brian. Good stuff, big dog. Appreciate you calling in.
Was that Al Pogue that had him committed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember where I was. I was in the front room down here talking with the lights off, looking out the window, calling Scooby to get his quotes.
66275. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Kyle?
What's your name?
Hello. Hey,
How about
this is Warren from Montgomery.
Warren, what's happening, big dog? I'm sorry, man. I keep
buddy. From last year.
Hey,
one time last year.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while.
We got a family reunion tonight.
I took a while. I've been watching my other little shows, and I seen you had your own show started, so I came on here and called. It's been on me real hard, Kyle.
Yeah.
I've been kind of frustrated with the team. You know, like you said, I don't give up on my team. I never give up. But I watch the shows and listen to how y'all talk. I watch it daily. I'm talking about religiously. But I'm going to piggyback off of what everybody else been talking about tonight. Man, I'm talking about Thorne disgusted with him. Why we went and got him. Hugh, why you stuck with him. But
me too.
What a lot of people don't realize is me, including me, because I love Auburn first. See, I love Auburn, not the players, because you can come and you can leave. I like all the good recruits, but if you don't love Auburn, I really don't care if you come or not. I want guys who love Auburn, because the guys I saw play on the field Saturday, they love Auburn. Yeah. And that's where them type of wins come from. And a lot of people, if you never played football and you don't understand the game of football, you would never understand that Hugh Freeze got rid of a whole offensive staff last year. He took over the play calling. So therefore, you had to implement your play calling in. It's really like Peyton was the first year. And I had to go back and think about this, because I just want to win, and I want to win right now. But I after I calm down and just think about it and look back over the year, just look back. Hey, it's just like what Alabama going through right now. You got a whole new coach. DeBoer, is he a bad coach? No. But is Milroe your quarterback? No, he's not, because you don't operate. You don't function like that. But you had to take what was left to you. You like a quarterback to stay in the pocket. With Auburn, Hugh Freeze like to throw the ball. His offense, if you his quarterback, you have to be able to throw, make shots. To run his offense, you have to be able to make the shot when he called it. You have to be able to run the ball. It's just a different system. So you took over this year and you start calling plays. Okay, it's just like Peyton Thorne is no different than a freshman coming in. You have to learn another. It's like you basically learn another whole system.
Yeah.
So, but to see him, he gave it up last year at 4 for 31. That's the best game I've seen him play. But I thought it was until last night.
Yeah.
I take my hat off to him. I have nothing bad to say about you anymore, Peyton. Guess what? Because you was dealt the hand. I heard somebody on the show just say it then. At best, you're an average quarterback. You're not the most gifted quarterback. No, you can get it did, but you're hard. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing that when I called in tonight, I want to say is I saw something you Peyton, and I saw something I heard somebody on the show said, when Peyton throw the interception, usually Freeze, you go chew him out. But you let him play the game.
and you let him correct his own mistake. Payne is an older quarterback. He's not young when you can kind of teach him. He's a seasoned vet for his college football goal. But what you did, you let him figure it out on his own. And when he figured it out, man, Alabama in trouble next week. Nobody believe what I'm telling them. I told my buddy, he's an Alabama fan, I said, you're going down to Norman this week. You know, you say, Ole Miss lost. Oh, man, they can't go to the playoff. But I said, you're not out the clear yet. You got to go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma is Auburn. And guess what? We're a good team that just haven't won. The only difference is what you all is Alabama found a way to win those games. We found a way to lose them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to Oklahoma tonight. Now, they got a defense. And they got a head coach that's a defensive mind. You in trouble when you go to Norman tonight. If they create any kind of offense, you're in trouble. And like I said, I tell anybody in the world, if I can put up 21 points on anybody, I will not lose. If Auburn put up 21 points, if I put up 21 points on Alabama, like I did with that goal for anybody in the country, if I put up 21 points next week, I can guarantee you a win.
Okay.
I can guarantee you a win. If I put up 21 points on anybody, my defense is good enough, but I kept them out there too long all year.
Sure.
Offense.
Got to get off the field on third down.
Bagging. No, you're stalling on your defense. Defense go out there and fight, play out the play, 3 and out. But if you can just drive the ball down the field, I say, you don't have to get a touchdown every time. But if you just kick a field goal, just go the length of the field, however the outcome is, and keep your defense rested. This team right now is built with Payne throwing in the mix. Yeah, make a few plays, score a few points. But if I can get 21 points and keep my defense rested, they'll take us the rest of the way. But it's real personal. Alabama, yeah, I heard somebody say that on the show. Y'all used to playing for championships. Y'all season over. Nobody believe me, Kyle, but they used to playing for championships. Yes, I know where they hard at right now. You're not used to being. You're not Auburn. No, how we been for the last few years. But what you are is a championship team. You lost. When you lost the other night, no, you don't feel like you can win a championship. You know you can't win a championship. So guess what? You're not Auburn. We're still fighting and clawing because guess what? People can talk about you freeze, but the one thing I give them, I don't know what he's selling them, but they have bought it. Yeah. Whatever he sold them, they have bought it. I seen Robbie Ashford, TJ Finley. When we get in holes like that, they go in there and put towels on top of their head on the sideline. I couldn't stand it. No, but this team is 4-6 now. And guess what? They never stop fighting. I never see nothing that say I quit. That's a dangerous team.
Good stuff, Warren. We appreciate your call. Made some good points. The sustaining drives is what he wants to see, and I absolutely agree. And I also, I was talking about special teams. We mentioned that earlier in the show. And Auburn seems like Auburn's opponent's punter is pinning them inside the 10, inside the 5. Man, I think Auburn started drives on the 1-yard line more times than any college football team in the history of college football.
Absolutely.
But that's what bend don't break. You're giving up field position on that with your defense. And when I'm going, well, why do they keep bending? Because Auburn's defense is, I'm not complaining about that. That they're giving up drives and then they're holding. But that what you're doing is you're giving up field position.
Yeah.
Which allows that team to pin your offense deep. The 3rd and 8, the 3rd and 9, the 3rd and 8, the 3rd and 7, the third and longs have killed Auburn all year long.
Yeah.
And I think Texas A&M to start the game had 4 3rd and longs, 3rd and 7, 8, 8, and 9, converted on every one of them.
I think it's two-pronged your issue right now in the secondary. One, you are extremely thin at the corner position. You almost don't even rotate.
Right.
And
you've got a one deep.
You've got a one deep that you're running ragged, and it's the end of the year. 2, we have a pass rush at times, and then at other times it kind of fades, right? So it's inconsistent. And the best thing that you can do if you're not going to be deep in the secondary where you can rotate bodies, you got to be able to generate a pass rush. And again, you've got guys that can do it. Jalen McLeod's up to 7 sacks on the year. Keldrick Faulk's got 7 sacks. But there's never been a game where they're bending the edge from both sides, and both of them are having their A game, right? So that's the problem for Auburn right now, I think, and why they're giving up some of these 3rd and longs is A, the lack of rotation on the back end to have fresh bodies that can stay in man-to-man coverage consistently, and 2, the inconsistent pass rush that you have. If you can get a pass rush going against Alabama and maintain rush lane integrity, because that's a huge thing with David Milroe, right?
Yes.
Like you cannot turn him loose and then be able to run the football and control the clock. Yeah, Auburn's got an absolute shot in that game. But that's a lot of ifs, right?
Sure. They've got a good spy. They've got DeMarcus Riddick, who is as good as they come.
Oh, I mean, sideline to sideline, there's not many that are faster than him, man. And I put him and Milroe in a foot race. I think I'm taking my man DeMarcus Riddick.
I think so, too. There are a lot of things that match up well for Auburn on defense specifically. The only thing I don't like about Auburn's defense matchup with Alabama's offense is the secondary and Alabama's wide receiver in their passing games.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough cover for Ryan Williams. You know what I mean?
Yes, correct. And, you stand back there, you give him Milroe time, because I'm going to tell you right now, Texas A&M's offensive line was very good.
Extremely.
Very good. Auburn's couldn't get penetration at all. Not that I could see. Maybe I was looking wrong, but their offensive line, stalwarts. What do you call it?
Stalwarts.
There you whatever. Auburn couldn't get through there.
No, look, Mike Elko's got that team built the right way through the trenches, right? Offense and defensive line, they've got some dudes. And I honestly believe that A&M is a better team than Alabama. Maybe a more talented team. But we'll see. I mean, again, you got to play this game in Bryant-Denny. So I'm going to be interested to see how Auburn shows up and plays. But, I mean, look, I understand the optimism. And the argument of Auburn having everything to play for and Alabama's level of motivation not necessarily being the same, because you have guys that are used to playing for championships and now that's not there anymore necessarily. Maybe it is. Maybe they can still sneak into the playoff. Alabama's a massive brand. If TV networks get involved in this at all, you're already missing it. Potentially, you're going to be missing the brand of what is Lane Kiffin. And you can say what you want about Ole Miss, but Kiffin is a massive brand that they utilize for eyeballs, right, and clicks. Deion Sanders in Colorado going down last night. That would have been massive for them for eyeballs and clicks with the amount of attention that Colorado and Deion draw. So you're taking some of that out, right? And you're replacing them with teams like Indiana, which is a feel-good story. But how many people are really
the same basketball?
How many people are really fans of Indiana? So if there's an opportunity for them to manipulate it just slightly to get a brand in there that's going to draw eyeballs, they'll do it. Guaranteed.
Alabama's going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
All right. Good stuff, Warren. Appreciate you calling in, big dog.
Last caller of the night, 3688. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where you called it from?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jonathan from Troy again.
Jonathan?
Hey, I just need to get on here and do a legal note. I have slandered Peyton Thorne. Got on here a few weeks ago and called for him to be benched. I need to apologize. He played pretty awesome last night. I think probably most fans' problem with Peyton is his inconsistency, and even last night he was a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
But he played well for most of the game, and that was good to see.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you're at the front of the line, Jonathan, you got a lot of people behind you.
Yeah. Look.
Yeah.
Including myself.
Yeah. Good on you for taking ownership, calling in tonight and saying that, right? You know what I mean? Like,
I called on here and I said that I think he needed to be benched or we needed to play Walker White.
Well, to be fair, it was
wrong.
somewhat justified. Let's don't act like that was kind of, some kind of hot shot that you're taking, hot take. It's been justified.
No, but to your point, does Walker White win that game last night against Texas A&M? Probably not.
I love Walker White, and he will eventually, but he's not ready, and you don't want to.
Yeah. He may be the second coming of Johnny Manziel. We don't know.
Lord, let's hope not.
Well, I'll take
Not off the field.
I was going to say I'll take the production on the field.
Johnny Manziel, not off the field.
Yeah, not
there
Johnny Football.
Yes.
Or so whatever.
Yeah, Johnny Football. But I kind of wanted to make that statement. I wanted to ask a few recruiting questions. I've heard some good things about Usman Kroma and Naeem Alford. Heard that he was really impressed with the way the game went last night. Heard that a lot of our current recruits that we have that may have been wavering, that game last night may have solidified their recruitment. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I will say on
Usman. I know y'all probably have some inside information that y'all can't really put out there, but
no, what I would say with Usman is I don't disagree with Jeffrey at all. And I think they made a fantastic impression on him last night. I do believe and this held true last year, right? Who's the big safety out of Buford last year?
KJ
Bolden.
So my information 2 days out from National Signing Day last year was KJ was, he was all Auburn. And then that information started to shift probably about 6 o'clock that afternoon the day before, and then it was done that morning. So to get a kid out of Georgia that Georgia wants is an extremely difficult task. And while I like the information right now as it pertains to Auburn with Usman Kroma, that's one of those, until you see him sign, you're going to be nervous about it, right? Sure. I just don't think that there's any way you're going to have an extreme amount of confidence about a kid from Georgia taking him away from somebody that Georgia wants, right? So I'll be interested to see how that one plays out, but I don't disagree with Jeffrey. I think the information is very positive as it pertains to where Auburn sits in his recruitment.
And listen,
I would say, let's be honest, Alford's probably the same way with Ohio State.
Possibly.
But going back to Kroma, let's remember that he committed to Georgia in early October, and about that same time, that's about the halfway point of the season.
Right.
Everybody was calling for Jarquez Hunter to get more touches. That's when he was getting 10 to 12 carries a game and, had maybe 400 yards on the season. Usman was at multiple games early, I shouldn't say several.
Sure.
So there was really nothing to sell him. And remember he committed. Well, since then, what has he done? And he said this to me today. He said, Jarquez Hunter having 1,100 yards in a season, which I think Jarquez actually has closer to 13. Because he went over 1,000 at Long Monroe, didn't he? So it is about 1,150.
He's right at 1,200. Yeah.
Okay.
He should be right around 1,200.
So he mentioned that, and then Jarquez had 130 yards last night, 2 touchdowns, 28 carries. I can't remember what it was. They have ridden that horse for the past 6 games. Nobody has complained about Jarquez Hunter getting more touches.
No.
It was keep doing that. Keep doing it. Give him 20 totes a game.
Yeah.
So for Kroma to see that, I think it's big. I think the relationship with Derek Nix is big. I think the religious aspect
plays a part.
A part. His mother was with him. They're very religious, and I think that plays a part. I think the NIL is going to be very competitive, if not Auburn being a little up on that. So I think Auburn having playing time to offer. Damari Alston is your most proven, most experienced back on the roster next year.
Yeah.
And he's got about 6 carries in his career. I'm exaggerating there, but so there's a lot to like about Kroma. And I understand the confidence coming from Auburn's side. So we'll see. And I will say this too, Jonathan. When I asked about, his commitment to Georgia, his, Auburn's chances of flipping him, he didn't really want to get into it. He didn't really want to. I thought that was interesting.
Sure.
I thought that it wasn't like, oh man, I'm still locked in with Georgia. Auburn's giving me something to think about, but I feel great about my commitment to Georgia. He didn't say that. So I can see where the confidence is coming from, not for Naeem Alford. Again, confidence at Auburn. He's been to 4 or 5 games. He's
more than that, right? I mean, I feel like he's been at every home game -1.
Oh, for real?
I think so.
I think I saw a tracker said that he's been here like 9 times.
Oh, overall.
Like,
yeah.
I could pull it up, but he's either way. He's it. That's how easy it is. We've talked about his girlfriend. We've talked about the opportunity for early playing time. Hell, we just said 10 minutes ago, Alan, Auburn has a 1 deep at corner.
Correct. I mean, you're telling this kid, hey, you're playing right away. You're in the 2 deep from jump.
Yeah. As soon as you sign that dotted line, you're our second string corner.
Absolutely.
And you're battling for starting position.
Correct.
Exactly. It would be nice to have like him and the dude from Tennessee on the field together.
Oh, Donovan Starr.
That'd be some speed right there. Donovan Starr, yeah. That'd be some speed right there. Got one more question for you guys, or really kind of about 2 players. Darian Smith from Maryland.
I love
and
him.
what do you guys have any information on him? And what do you guys think are legit chances for maybe Justice Terry? You think the environment last night may have swayed him any at all? I mean, I still think Georgia's probably where he's going, but any information?
Yeah, I thought. Well, Justice Terry.
I want to let y'all go with that.
Okay, appreciate your call, Jonathan. Very well informed caller right there.
Definitely.
I'd like to presume that he is a member of Auburn Live on 3 because he knows what's going on. Darian Smith, Tennessee commitment, taking an official visit to Auburn. I like Auburn here. I said I probably have an impending on 3 RPM coming for him.
Yeah.
His buddy Bryce Diaz, his buddy teammates Blake Woodby, Wayne Henry, all these cats from St. Francis, man, they love Auburn. They're just not committed to Auburn. They love Auburn. They freaking love it down here.
They do.
They're not used to this stuff. They're not used to coming down here and being just loved. And that's what they have been. They love it down here. So I think Auburn he's committed to Tennessee, but he's another that I think Auburn's the team to beat for. Justice Terry, let me tell you something. If you'd asked me last night when I got home from the game, I would have said Auburn has 10% shot with him.
Yeah.
No, listen, for the fourth quarter, Christian and I were in looking to get some recruits there, get some feedback from some recruits. And we saw Justice Terry over here at the table with his parents, and there was the big screen, huge screen with the game on. And I'm not kidding you, man. This is how Justice Terry spent the fourth quarter of that game. Not out in the crowd, not in the recruit section. He had his head down at the table looking at his phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, dang, he didn't rush the field. They might have taken him into the locker room. Maybe they walked him out to the field. I don't know. But he wasn't out in the crowd. And I'm going, well, at least you got him in for a visit. Sunday rolls around. I'm talking to Kel Ellis and talking to other guys that were there. And they were like, man, Justice really had a good time. I was like, really? Really? And they're like, yeah, man. It was pretty positive feedback. I'm going, man. Because he was not even inside the stadium. He was underneath the stadium, not even watching the game on TV. He had his head down looking at his phone.
Correct.
And he could have been watching it on his phone for all I know. But I just thought I thought that was important. I thought that was worth noting. But I'm telling you, after he left today, he walked by us. He said, hey, man, I don't have time right now, politely declined to do an exit interview. And there's still some confidence at Auburn that they can pull off this upset. Now, again, don't fall for it. I'm not going to. I still think the safe play here for all of us, recruiting reporters for Auburn and Auburn fans, expect him to sign with Georgia.
Yes.
Don't make any last minute. Oh man, I hear it's going to happen.
No.
Don't fall for that. Let him announce it. Let Auburn announce his signing. and then celebrate, but expect him to go to Georgia.
I think the last time I got burned on a situation like that, who was the kid out of Montgomery? Perry.
Curtis.
Curtis Perry. That's the last time that I allowed my intel leading into a signing day to kind of say, "Oh, Auburn's got a chance." No. In these kind of situations where you know who the presumed favorite is, don't assume, right? Just let it play out however it's going to play out. I'm with you, Jeffrey, wholeheartedly. I think that's the smart idea, smart play. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I haven't heard positive things as it pertains to him, right? But I just think in the end that was going to be too difficult right now. But I'm with you on Darian Smith. I disagree with that kid's ranking wholeheartedly. I love that kid. I think he's a one-gap penetrator that can absolutely wreak havoc in the backfield. Now, he needs to add a little bit of weight.
Yeah, he was 6'2", 260, I think.
Right, but he's a kid that if he gets 280 plus, watch out. I mean, I really think he's going to be able to create some havoc up front, advanced with his hands, plays with good leverage, really good first step quickness. I mean, and he just jumps off the ball. For those that haven't seen his huddle cut-ups, go take a peek. Watch how quickly he gets into the backfield, swims guys, rips, converts speed to power. All of it's there.
Fundamentally sound.
Very fundamentally. Whereas, the Smith kid out of Thompson,
yes,
completely different deal, right?
Correct.
He's still figuring out how to play. This kid knows how to play. And so because of that, if he can add the proper weight, I think he could potentially be a player next year, similar to Malik Blockton this year.
Hey, and we're going to be back Wednesday morning. It's scheduled right now for a Wednesday release. We're going to have a recruiting show this week, as we always do, but we're going to get down dirty. We're going to talk to it. We're going to go into. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of recruiting intel to sort through, to gather. Well, we're going to be taking questions from the corner. So if you haven't already, get ready for a Tuesday night or a Tuesday afternoon posting from Mr. Allen Head. He'll be requesting any questions for us to answer on that show. If you're not a member to Auburn Live on 3, go check us out. I think they've got the $1 for 1 week. If not, use the promo code FRIEND for 50% off an annual subscription. And that's going to take you all the way through signing day and transfer portal. A lot's going to be going on. If you're not a member of Auburn Live on 3 right now, it's the perfect opportunity, because you've got signing day in 10 days, and then it's going to turn straight into the portal. And this is not just any transfer portal season for Auburn. This is a huge opportunity for Auburn to get that crossover quarterback between the future, whether it be Walker White, Hank Brown, Deuce Knight, and next year. They've got to have an immediate impact player at quarterback, and I guarantee you Auburn's going to do whatever it takes to get him this year.
Yes.
It's going to be very fun. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to be doing our best to track it all, to bring you all the information we can. So go get locked into Auburn Live on 3. Again, we're going to be back Wednesday morning. We're going to record Tuesday evening, the recruiting show. And then, of course, we'll be back next week to talk the Iron Bowl. And according to just about every caller we had tonight, we're going to be talking about Auburn's big upset win over Alabama and where the Tigers will go bowling. And listen, loved the calls tonight. Listen, we had legends kicking us off. Kevin, Hendo, Anthony, Edward. And then we had Brian, Warren, and Jonathan. Fantastic calls tonight. Fantastic insight. We really appreciate everybody. Don't forget, if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, you're looking for some real estate help, we've got her right here, man. Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. As always, tell her we sent you. All right, folks, that's going to do it tonight. Like I said, Wednesday morning recruiting show. I think we've got a modcast Thursday. We got some shows. So get logged on to Auburn Live on 3 and the YouTube page that you're on right now. Just go ahead and subscribe to it. Hit those notifications so you'll know exactly when each video is uploaded. All right, folks, that's going to do it. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Allen Head, for Zach in the back who came to the front and went to the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.